gallery.
Okay, got it. Why do I feel like I'm like 20?
Boomer.
20?
Dude, look how much water I'm drinking, if you can see.
I know, it's a big water bottle.
Don't worry.
I didn't even put makeup on, Emily. You're not even wearing makeup either.
I literally just woke up like 5 minutes ago, okay? It looks like I have makeup because my eyebrows are done. Hey everyone, I'm Emily, the host for the Asian Female Lead podcast. Today I'm super excited because I have a wonderful friend, Anna Ingles, with me here on this podcast. Hey Anna, how's it going?
Hey everyone, I'm Anna. I'm a Filipino American based in the Bay Area, and I do social media for a tech company, and I'm a Taurus.
Maybe we can talk about like our different perspectives of like how we've met each other in high school.
You want to start?
Sure. I mean, it's very vague. I don't really remember all of it, but it wasn't until my second year in yearbook that we became closer. I think when I was a senior, I believe, because Anna and I were 1 year apart. It wasn't until we got my second year of yearbook that I was like, oh, Anna's pretty cool. And then we became good friends through yearbook, and my complaining about it all the time and Anna listening to me complain.
Oh my gosh.
And then we lived near each other too.
We were we were yeards in high school, part of the yearbook. I feel like that's where we bonded. And one big thing that I do remember was you called me on my birthday and you were like, hey, can you meet me outside? I baked like those Oreo truffles. And I was like, wait, this is random. Why? And I feel like that's the start of our friendship. Because that was very nice. Yeah, you did.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I think it was really yearbook that like bonded us together. And
yeah.
How long has it been? Has it been like 10 years already?
Has it been? I graduated 2012, and it's, I guess, almost 10 years.
Yeah, it has.
That's so crazy.
That is so crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think honestly, this is going to be a good podcast episode because a lot of what we're talking about is on like best friendship and like how we've seen each other like develop and how we managed to stay such good friends for so long. Yeah, because that's a long time. Like 10 years as a child, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, who else do I talk to in high school?
No one. I know, like, fuck everyone. Just kidding. So, I mean, let's kind of just like dive into the psychology and the depth of our friendship.
Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm done. Okay.
Are we gonna cry?
Oh, well, I just ended my period, so I think I'll. So, how about let's do this? Let's describe each other in a few sentences. I think
you can lead this podcast. See what I did there.
For you, the way to best describe you is like silent resilience. I think when people see you, you're unlike the outward appearance, you're obviously like very friendly, you're kind, you're genuine. But I think when people know you more, I think there are like so many different layers to you as a person. I think sometimes you don't give as much like context sometimes as a person. You're a little bit more like quieter. And I think, you don't talk about the things that you do, but you do a lot of things and you work very hard. And so I think as your friend, I'm always like, Anna.
Give me context. I think that's one thing with our friendship. You're just like, I'm like, no. You're like, okay, give me context. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't like giving context. It's not that I don't like. It's just that's just not how I am with things.
It's like not in your nature, I think. But you work very hard. Like I think you're kind of like you're like a silent killer too. Like you know when you're like I want something, you'll like go after it and you won't tell anyone. And then you'll come to me and be like, oh yeah, I did this. I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm like, I was going through this, and it's like, what the hell?
That's kind of how you are. But I think you're also very like, you take care of people. I would say you are always there when it matters the most. One of the very few people in my life that will like tell me how it is, if that makes sense. Because I think most people are scared to tell me how it is.
I'm not. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe a little bit. At times. So Emily, since school, you've always been a person who doesn't give 2 F's, but you're like, okay, like if I don't like this, I'm not going to spend more time to do it. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like it, you're like, okay, you're done. And then, which I admire about you because when something doesn't work, just like move forward into the next thing. And I actually like really applaud you for that because, and I know that's something that like with jobs, something that I've instilled with myself too. When like looking for jobs, I'm like, okay, if this doesn't work out, then I'm on to the next thing. And I think I got that from you. So Emily you're very caring, very You're very like, let's do this now. Like, let's get this done.
Execution.
Like like you get things done. Like you plan everything out to the T. Most of all, you're very caring and kind. You're like the mom of the group. You'll make sure that everything is done. I'm like mumbling all my words because you can't describe Emily. Emily is very unique.
I think it's interesting too to also see like how you and I have kind of grown, right? Like we're not high schoolers anymore, like complaining about yearbook or about like stupid boys. Like now we're like fully grown into our elder 20s.
I know, don't even say that.
But it's been fascinating kind of like watching each other grow and in the past like 10 years that we've been friends. And that kind of like leads me into the next question, which is like, how have we managed to stay good friends for so long, right? Because like at one point you were in LA and I was in San Francisco, and then we were in San Francisco at the same time, and then you were in Oakland, and then now I'm in Singapore, and then now you're in San Rafael. So like
it's like bouncing around.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely when I was in college, you were in college in San Francisco, and we would like check in with each other like once or twice a month because we were both busy with school, and I would visit you in San Francisco, for like weekends, and you would visit me in UCLA. So I think just like staying in touch and also giving each other space to grow was a big part of it. I definitely think moving to the Bay, you were a big part of that because you were like, you were helping me like get jobs, like trying to figure out like where should I stay, and like moving to the Bay was definitely, you were 100% part of it because I don't even know what I would have done with like couch surfing. And you were like there for me for every step of the way. I would like sleep on your couch, you would pay for my coffee, my food, all those things. So like having that like friendship of like knowing that you were there for me at like my lowest. Yeah,
I think there's also like a mutual understanding now about how we are most effective and like the way that we like process different emotions and like situations. I think for me, like when I'm angry or something bad happens to me, I need to like talk it out and like I need you to like be there and like listen to me. For you, it's like you need me to give you space so that you process it out yourself and then you come when you're ready to talk about it. Right. And so there were a lot of like journeys and having to like understand that about each other.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we're different people, so like that's why it's very interesting and how we've remained friends, because to be honest, like we are so different, but that's how we work out.
I know. I was like, I don't know if I could handle like two of Emily's. That'd be kind of
the same here. I feel like we've always been at a point just like, well, now
Yeah. But I think it's also like when I've needed you, like you're always there. Like even through like the really hard times. Yeah, like the breakups or like I don't know, like my low points too. Like I think you've always been consistent, you've been consistent and you've been there. So I think I value that in like friendship because I don't know. I feel like I've had friends who just kind of show up whenever they want to. You choose to be available. You choose to be there for your friend. You can't just choose when you want to do that. And I feel like for you, you've always been there.
Yeah. And I may not be there like every day, but I'm there at like the important parts.
Yeah. I think
when you're low, not like in the good parts only, but when you're going down and all that stuff, like I am there.
The other question too is like how we balance certain expectations of each other.
With everything, we've definitely grown. Me moving to San Francisco and then you moving to Singapore. It's like we're never just like at one place at one time for like a good amount of time. It's like a year or something. So it's just like it's like different, obviously, with you being out and just like set expectations like, hey, I would like you. Sometimes I know I get lost in like my own world and I'm like, oh, everybody's fine. Like, let's all work on each other individually. But like, telling me, hey, I would appreciate if you like checked in on me. Or like me to say like, hey, I would appreciate it if you like gave me space. You know what I mean? Like that setting expectations of like how we want to show that we care about each other. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think it's also explaining that like me giving you space is also showing that I care about you. And then you checking up on me is like how that you would be caring about me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
At one point, like both of us were just like prescribing what we thought was right from our own personal preference to each other.
Totally. Exactly. Like, when like, and I know this was like a big part of like our friendship within just the last year, when I was like, I wasn't checking up on you for like some time, and I'm like, oh, because when I'm alone in Singapore, I would like to be left alone. Like I wouldn't want like people, my friends, to check up on me. I'm like, leave me alone, because I'm in a different country. Like let me have my space. But then with you, it's just like, oh, you would want, it's like you would want your friends to check in on you, because you are alone in a different country, and that's big. Yeah.
I think it's also because I don't know, like you know how you mentioned how I'm kind of like the mother or like the planner.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I
Yeah.
always like reach out, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I get exhausted too, right? Like the reacher always
Yeah.
reaches, and at some point, like I think I'm also like learning that about myself too. I'm like I don't always have
Mm-hmm.
to be the first one to reach out, and I just
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's why people get surprised. They're like, oh, Emily just disappeared, but it's like really more of like
Mhm.
tired of reaching out all the time.
Yeah.
And I think I had to like articulate that to you and
Mm-hmm.
people as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good balance, I would say. How do you think we like practice vulnerability? Dun, dun, dun.
You can start that.
Well, I think I
Yeah.
wear my, well, okay. This is interesting because I feel like I wear my emotions on my sleeve when it comes to small things, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really like, I don't like this person, or I don't want to do,
Yeah.
or I'm like, oh, this pissed me off, right? Like this will,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that will,
Yeah.
yeah, like it'll
Mm-hmm.
show up, like you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think when I'm hurt or like when I'm really sad, there's only like very few people I'll go and talk to. It's like you, Danica,
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine, to be honest. Yeah, like I don't think a lot of people are able to see that part of me. So I don't know how I just like practice it. I think it's because you give me a safe space to just
Mm-hmm.
cry and like sob. And no one sees that part because I don't like to be perceived as like weak. But I
Mm-hmm.
think you as a friend letting me know that like I can do that without judgment and just letting
Yeah.
me like let it out. I think that's important.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I agree that, you do wear your heart on on your sleeve. So, and then, so I am there for you when, at times when you like really need it. How do I show vulnerability? Do I show?
I've definitely caught you in moments where like you weren't, I don't think you meant to be vulnerable, but it just came out. I think it's a lot of it's like you showing frustration.
Yeah,
Because I don't think you like to show people when you're frustrated or like angry.
that's true. Like I don't,
Yeah, like you
I
don't,
figure it out myself,
yeah, exactly. Like you like to,
because I don't like other people's, like, let's say I'm frustrated about something. I don't want anybody else's input
yeah,
on it, because then it'll frustrate me even more. So
yeah,
it's just like, oh, I'll let you know once it's done. And they'll be like, oh my God, I was frustrated this time, this. I guess it's something that I do need to work on, expressing more of my feelings when I'm down, and like being in the moment of like when I want to cry, just calling you up, rather than like waiting, like feeling it myself and then waiting later on. Be like, oh my God, I cried for 5 days last week.
yeah. Actually, yeah, you do that though. But I think it's a way for you to like cope. Like it's your processing method. I feel like you are vulnerable with me when you like tell me like things that have happened to you and like what you've done to process.
Yeah. And I know that you're one of the only few people who know like me, truly.
Yeah, I've
So
seen it all.
yeah.
High school, college,
I know.
downtown. A
Oh
story,
my
a
gosh.
story we won't talk about, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
you've seen it all too. I think it's just like those moments, like when you've seen everything, you're just like, all right, we're just gonna
Mhm.
be friends because you know too much already. I'm kidding. So I think this question you asked, you're like, you said who was a leader in our friendship? I was like, it doesn't have to
No,
be
I
my
just did that
favorite.
because I wanted to align it to like Asian female lead. I was like, okay, lead.
Okay, the way that I see it as like, I don't think there's like a leader in this friendship. I think there's like
Mhm.
two, we're like allies. I see it as like we run our own armies and we are allies. Like we're neighboring countries that will like
Mhm.
pull out the big guns if something happens to our countries. Our countries are a little bit small because
Yeah.
we're still growing, but
Mhm.
that's how I see it.
I like your analogy,
Yeah,
countries.
we're countries.
Yeah.
We're two neighboring
Mhm.
countries. You're South Korea,
Yeah.
I'm North Korea.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, and then yeah, I can see that. Sorry, North.
Hey.
I will go to bat for you, and I know you'll do the same for me. I know that you'll be there for me, and and I hope you know that I'll be there for you.
Mhm.
We're allies.
And I think that's how friendships should be, to be honest. I feel like I mean, sometimes it's more of just like, I don't need you to like fix anything. I just need you to like be there.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely something I need to work on. It's just like, maybe when you text me or something, I should just be like, need advice, or do you need me to just listen?
Oh, this question I think I asked is like, what are moments we've stepped up and led? Like it can be like moments of darkness, moments of career confusion, etc.
Is this personally or what we've seen in each other?
I think it can be personally or what we've seen in each other. I don't know. I guess whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think for you, I've definitely seen you step up on like doing what you want. With you worked in tech, and then you're like, okay, I think this is this chapter is like done for me. I want to move to Asia, and then like seeing you like step up and like take charge and be like, oh my god, I guess it's actually happening. You're moving to Singapore. Like you'd really like what to do with like taking charge of your own life. Just it's so crazy to see you like grow from like getting your first job at after college, and then you moving to this big company, and then now you're like in Asia, in Singapore. So I think you're definitely step up and like what you want, period, and you won't waste time to figure that out. Yeah.
It's interesting because like sometimes, sometimes I feel like I don't know everything. And it's very like I just want to do whatever I want to do. One thing that I also just feel like I should learn more from you as well as like I think you do process things a lot better. I feel like I'm very like execute, and like just things are done fast. But I think for you, like put thought into like your decision making. Like sometimes I do wonder, I'm like, what if I had just put more thought into something and it would have made sense because I would have like it's more substantial or it's more like long term, like process thinking.
Yeah.
Whereas like for me, it's like boop, boop, boop. And then for you, it's like your decision making, it like extends on for a long time. And then and then you move on to the next one and then it's like longer. So I don't think there's like a right or wrong, but I think that's something I learned from you. Yeah, you would just like quietly tell me things like, hey Emily, I'm moving to San Francisco. Oh, hey Emily, I have a contract job. Hey Emily, I'm converted to full time. And then like I like, hey Emily, I'm in Austin.
Yeah. Emily, I'm in Portland.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, we are who we are.
Yeah.
Like I know, whenever you come to me about like, oh, should I do this? Obviously, I would give you like my take, and be like, okay, maybe think this through, maybe give it time. Like, let's just stick to this moment. Let's be in this moment for now, So I always tell you like what I would do, but you are your own person, you'll do what you want.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like it's just like, I think for both of us, like the grass is greener on the other side. Like, I would love to like, be in Asia and like do something. So, yeah.
And I mean, I feel like you've stepped up for yourself. I would say like recent years, you really invested in yourself. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like when I see you, I'm like, Anna is like, you're investing in your career. And I feel like that's investing in like a long-term thing. Like you're taking care of yourself. Like I just feel like you're on the right path. Obviously, no one knows like what the hell we're doing. But I feel like in the past, you've really like worked really hard on your career. You've like made really strong relationships at work and like, with people. So
Thank you. And you did too, I feel like you have so many friends, so many like networking, and I'm always like, damn, how can I be like that? Like, you put yourself out there, and that's something that I wish I had.
I mean, you can just like,
I know I can, but I just don't.
Well, but it's different too because right now I'm in a different country, right? So like, the whole thing was like, oh, make friends, like build a community. When I go back home, if and when I do go back home to San Francisco, I think I'll just lay low for a bit. Yeah, if and when I go home. Oh, this one's funny. What is the one thing you least like in the friendship?
Oh my god. Watch us be like our fight.
I know.
I think it's just like having that patience towards others, and like knowing that everybody has like a different timeline, and just like not everything has to happen with just one, right?
Yeah.
No, I think it's that, just like, giving that person, like having that understanding what that other person's going through, and just be like, okay, they're dealing with this, and just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's like the main thing.
Yeah. I kind of see another analogy as like sometimes I might be like a tsunami and then
Yeah.
I'm literally just like going, and then I
Yeah.
like I also
And you burst and like,
yeah.
yeah.
Or it's okay, not like that, but I was saying like the momentum that I have sometimes it's a lot. And so when I have people around me that I want to be there with me as well, then I like am the tsunami just kind of almost not destroying, but like kind of moving people even if they don't want to be moved or if they don't want to go in that direction. So I think that's
Yeah.
something I've been trying to like work on too. Yeah, it's like being patient.
Mhm.
What I want to do isn't what other people want to do, and what they want to do isn't what I want to do. So yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I know it's like the way that you process, but it definitely is like I think you would tell me things earlier. Yeah. Because I know you don't want me to like I know you don't need me to fix anything, but I
Yeah.
it makes me feel like I'm more in your life when these
Yeah.
hard parts of your life are happening, not until like after.
Yeah. No, totally. And the thing is, like, the caveat to that is like nobody knows. Like literally zero like if you don't know,
Yeah.
other people don't know. And I know that's kind of like a sad reality of just like who I am, of like I don't, like not even like my boyfriend knows, not, so it's not definitely not you. I know that's something I need to work on, and like including people in my life and like going through big and like sad part of it.
Because it's I think it's like lonely doing that yourself. Where do you see each other in 5 years?
Oh my gosh.
Dun,
In
dun.
5 years, I see you back in the Bay Area, having this like I don't know. I feel like that's like you have your own company. Is that too far out? Like you have your own company. You have a dog. You live in a high rise. San Francisco.
Cool.
Like, and you're like a boss ass bitch. Like you have people that you manage. You're running your own company. And I know that's something that you're working on right now. Yeah, I just in 5 years a lot can happen. Like where were you 5 years ago? And like so it's just like it's crazy. So you've been traveling in between.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say that. I was like, I'm probably gonna be traveling.
Yeah.
I think for you in 5 years, I feel like you are gonna be like an executive at a large tech company. That's what I think actually. I think you
Yeah.
have that trajectory about you. Like you have that path just because I feel like it's very natural for you. Like you might think right now it's like 5 years is far off, but I can see you being like an executive, like a VP of something at a big tech company and like also managing a team. I always thought that you were gonna go into like
Yeah, you always say that.
I
Beauty and fashion.
not beauty and fashion, but more like I always thought you'd go into like editorial, like something at a big magazine or a publication, something like that. So I don't know if that's still the way that you would go towards, or like maybe you work for like a mental health app, right? Like,
yeah,
like,
I know.
Yeah, because you're good at that. Like
I've applied to Headspace.
Name drop. Name drop.
Blur that.
Hire her. But I do see you working for like something that's like that has like impact, like something around like social impact, like mental awareness, or like social impact, something like that. But I still think it's either tech related, publication related, and I do think you'll be living around me as well.
I know.
Yeah, I actually think you're gonna be a homeowner.
Live with you. A homeowner. Honestly, like I've told you this, you'll be like a great consultant. People come to you for advice, like companies, people, because I think that's who you are as a friend too. You're the person that people go to like for advice. I'm like, what do I do? And you give good, like really great ones.
The reason why I think that you're gonna be a homeowner is because you like space. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe you'll like have a house in like the Marin, like overlooking
LA.
Yeah, no, not LA. You have like nearby, like South Bay, but
yeah,
or actually, ultimately, maybe LA, either LA or like San Francisco or like anywhere with like a nice neighborhood. That's where I would see.
Yeah. With a nice coffee shop that I can just walk to.
I'll have
but
like
yeah,
a pug. You'll have a pug.
Yeah. Or a golden doodle. You'll be ruling the world.
I don't know. I feel like there are like Yeah. Don't put high expectations, because what if what if
Yeah.
5 years I'm not doing jack shit?
I know, that's why I was like, oh no, I know you will be. Have your dog, have your man.
I don't know how the dog for sure, but the man, I don't know. The man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We can talk about relationships actually, because that's our next flow. Who we
Mhm,
believe would be a good fit for the other person. So like for Anna,
mhm.
I think someone who would kind of like just jive with you naturally is someone who's just very patient and obviously like caring, right? I think those are like the
Mhm.
pillars. But also just like I think in some ways you and I are similar because we like project manage our lives. We
Yeah.
like things in a particular way. But because we
Mhm,
do that, it gets really tiring and
mhm.
we get like decision making fatigue. So I think both you and I need someone who's like kind of assertive and can just like step up sometimes and be that
Yeah.
shoulder to lean on and to make decisions for us as well. So like
Yeah.
bearing the responsibility of like planning, project managing, like running the household, like
Yeah.
just a little bit,
Yeah, I
right?
know. And as women, I know it's weird to say that.
Yeah.
'Cause, like yeah, I like yeah, but yeah, exactly. I would like somebody to just like be, take charge, It's weird for like this is my boyfriend. Eric, are you listening to this? But and I know that's just how it is. I know for you too, like when you call me up of like after one of your dates, you do need somebody who like plans for you, who like steps up. What should we eat? Oh, this is what we should eat, but also thinking about what you want. Like for you specifically, you plan things for everybody, your friends, this, that. And I think in a relationship, you would want like the guy to be doing that for you. Since you do it for everyone else, you want him to be the one like, oh, hey, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Because
just somebody to just be there for you, be caring. And yeah.
yeah, I think the planning part is really important to me, at least, because it's like it just
Mhm,
to me, I'm like when I plan something for someone, it means that I care. I put time and
mhm,
effort into making sure that this is a success. Like even if it's like
mhm,
a picnic at a park, like I'm putting effort into like organizing, right? But then I'm
mhm.
like, when you just slap something like half-assed, like, oh, I don't know, oh, like what are we gonna do? I'm like, the fuck, I have things that I need to do. I'm like, you're wasting my time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
And you want them to just like take charge of that, while also thinking of you. I
yeah.
know it's a little bit tricky. It's just like, I want you to care about me. And
You also want someone who can give you like new experiences. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I think you're a learner and you also like you're adventurous as well. Like you are
Mhm.
kind of just moving around the US right now from city to city. I think you need someone who kind of just like will kind of like pick up their things and like go with you. Like
Yeah.
you have that sense of like exploration. But also be
Mhm.
someone who is okay like being
Yeah,
at
like letting you
home.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. And also I feel like someone who just like jives with your energy. You have like a very like
Why is it bad?
like no, I think it's good. I think I need it too. Like self-healing and like meditation
Mhm.
and like taking care
Yeah.
of yourself. Yeah, I think you need someone who understands that. Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think for you need somebody who is
I need someone who's
yeah,
patient.
yeah, patient. Definitely, I think patient. Definitely, I think we see that for both of us.
Yeah.
Somebody who can. I know with you, it's just like, oh, I actually want to go to this place for like a month or for a year.
Yeah.
Somebody who was willing to like go that visit you or even go with you. Somebody who's adventurous,
Mhm.
who's been places. And I know it's somebody who also speaks Mandarin.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be ideal. That'd be
Yeah.
ideal. We can't have everything. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, not that it's a bad thing, but I do think like as you get older, like I can't be that picky.
Yeah, but that's like yes or no. It's like you can't be like, oh, lower your expectations, lower your standards, because it's like, no, you shouldn't.
And I mean, I'm not going to. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm 40 and I'm still single, then I will. But
And be like, okay, anybody.
anyone. Just kidding. But yeah, I definitely think right now it's like not a priority. Cause you know me, like I feel like I'm so romantic.
You are romantic, which
Yeah.
is like
It's weird, right?
sometimes it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but you are, you want somebody to like, well, you don't really like cards. I feel like when I would write you a card, you're like, no, I'm going to throw that away. So maybe not.
No,
You said that to
no.
me.
Okay, I say that because I'm like, I do keep cards though. Like I have a
Okay.
stack of cards. I save all my cards.
Okay. Okay.
I like reading them now. Okay, it's probably gonna throw it away, but I just don't know. I don't want you to spend money on cards.
Okay. I think yeah, the fancy.
I don't want you to spend like $10 on a card. I'd rather you write a card for me on like a piece of paper that you found,
Yeah.
and then give me that, and I'll save it.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was also for you that just came up in my head. It's just like you want somebody who will actually. I think time is big for you. To like make time for you. Be like no matter how busy a person is like is the guy going to like make time for you? Like because I know that's something big for you because that's what you do with everybody. Like you're super busy, but yet you make time for people. I don't know how you do it, so that's a good expectation that you want from your partner. Somebody who'll be who'll do anything for you time wise. Yeah, isn't that like your love language?
Quality time.
Yeah.
I think it's like quality time and words of affirmation.
Yeah. You definitely somebody who's like who can express like themselves and be vulnerable with you, not like you have to figure them out like what's going on, playing a guessy game.
That is so true. And someone, some like a friend that I have in Singapore, we were like talking about relationships too, and she was like, it shouldn't be hard. That's the thing. She's like, when it gets hard, when it's like, it feels like you're grinding at the wheels like every day to just be in this relationship with someone, like that's not a relationship. And I think I just need to find someone who is just like, it's just easy to be with. Right? And
yeah,
I don't want to like, I don't know. I just feel like my past relationships they've been hard.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing, with like me traveling for the past 4 months. Like a lot of people have actually come to me and be like, oh my God, it's so good for Eric to allow you. It's like, what? Not that he's allowing me, but we give each other that space of like doing our own thing. And it's also nice being allowed for a while.
Yeah. I mean,
we never know what's gonna happen in the next year or two.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'll go to like a wedding or something.
And meet someone.
Your wedding.
Oh my God. I was like a wedding and then meet someone.
Oh,
yeah.
The last thing to like wrap up our like friendshipness. What advice would you give to other people who want to have a long-term friendship? Like, how did we do it, right? Like,
I think we're so different though. Like we're so different. So I don't know if that. Yeah, so I don't know if that advice would like. I think it's just like knowing how much you value like the past and the present. Like as long as you value. A lot of people say like, oh, just because you know somebody for X amount of years, it doesn't fucking matter, whatever. I think it does, like appreciating that time and like being grateful for like, all the times you've been for me and just like having the understanding when things do get rough, between us. Like, yeah. So just like, okay, I do value this person. So I'm going to be more understanding. I'm going to do this more for that person, because friendship is also like a relationship. It's kind of right. So
no, it is. And I think like it's almost, I mean, yeah, I do think like friendships, you obviously like you give each other a certain type of like different type of love, right? Like there's so many different types of love, like love that you give to your kid, your friend, your partner, your parents, right? So I think it's also like the way that you show love or you build like a strong relationship with your like friend. In that context is just consistency and like showing up.
But also being understanding, because both people can be going through like different, parts in time. So it's just like being understanding.
Yeah.
When the other person doesn't show up, being like, okay, it's fine. Or when this other person doesn't do this, just having that understanding and patience.
But I think you and I have found like a good medium of like what works for us. Like I do think that, you obviously like you still are like one of my closest friends. And like it's kind of crazy to think like, oh, I was like in the yearbook.
Yeah, from like yearbook years to like I really wanted to come up with something like catchy, but I couldn't.
We're like, well, I mean, I watched this video yesterday. We're CEOs of our own lives. That's yeah. I just hope that
did you say she?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I said CEOs.
okay, I was gonna
But
say.
maybe I have a list because now I can't pronounce it. But yeah, that works too. CEOs.
Mhm.
We're CEOs of our whole life.
Yeah, and we are.
Within 5 years, wherever we are. I
Mhm.
hope that like you live nearby me, or like
Yeah.
we're still like.
And if we don't, it will still work out. Just having that trust.
I want my dogs to be friends with your dogs, right?
I
Like
know.
to continue the lineage, or like the
Yeah,
friendshipness. Yeah.
I know. I can't believe you'll be like 31.
Can you not say that? Holy shit.
Well, you'll be 32.
Damn it, Anna.
Well, I just want to say that Emily is a great friend. Wait, I wrote something. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to say that Emily is a great friend. You have been, you've been so supportive, and like all of your friends, and and I know sometimes it's like hard, like not hard, like I wish I can do, what do you call that? Like I hope I can pay that debt. Is it debt?
It's not
Like
bad.
not debt. It's just like that. How much you've like helped me throughout my life. I wish I can do that the same for you.
Well, you don't,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't see it as like give and take, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
the only thing I'll ask of you is to like take care of my dog when I
Oh
travel.
yeah.
That's how you'll help me. Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
There's a reason, like, why we've been friends for so long and we've stayed friends. So
Yeah.
I like continue to will always want to have you like in my space, right? Like my ally and like my best friend. And
Yeah.
I'm in Asia, you're in like Bay Area or LA. Yeah, we'll always be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cannot get rid of me.
Same here.
For those tuning in, I hope you found this like insightful and deep conversation with Anna. I feel like it was a good conversation. Yeah. It's kind of like a nice like yearbook reveal, or like a reveal of like our relationship.
I know. We should like send this to people.
To
I
who?
know. I don't know, people from high school.
Oh,
Yearbook.
No, I'm good.
No, never mind. Edit that.
But anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Anna, for being on this podcast. And maybe I will add this to my YouTube channel. But thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please leave like a comment or a voice message on Anchor. Other than that, thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.